Hey there, and howdy to all y'all good people out there in football land. This here is your old cousin Scotty with the last bag of regular season pigskin picks. Now, let me tell y'all, I hope y'all all had a happy Thanksgiving. We sure did. We missed Mom this year, but her love was with us and we knowed it. Well, it's week 13 and it's already acting a bit like Friday the 13th with a full moon. Underdog Ole Miss went on the road and eked out a win over their in-state rival Bulldogs Thursday night in the Egg Bowl. Then Friday, unranked Pitt, only 3 wins on the season at the time, beat Miami, blowed them up, and most likely their hopes of any playoff time. Missouri pulls off a close win in a 93-point offensive extravaganza. Virginia Tech and Texas both won, but just for bragging rights in their state. Last week, or as I called it, Wust Week, I managed to call all 11 games correct. Big deal. The only real contest out of that bunch was Kentucky at Georgia. That game did not disappoint. The Cats come to play and brought a crowd with them. It was fun to watch, and the Dogs won in the end. And now for what y'all came for, the final week of the season. Here we go. Clemson versus South Carolina. Dabo Swinney will load up his Tigers and head a couple hours down I-385 to Muschamp's Columbia chicken coop. Cocky has crowed a few times this year. He's also been plucked, fried, and roasted. Can the Funky Chickens pull out a miracle and really mess up the Tigers' year? Can Muschamp find a way to get his guys pumped up and playing like champs? Will the Pope keep the new Lamborghini? Will Brett Bielema keep his job at Arkansas? Sorry, got carried away. The answer to all the above is no. Bielema got fired right after the Mizzou game. The Pope signed the Lambo and sent it to Sotheby's for auction. As for the rest of the questions, Dabo and the boys will answer them by the end of the first quarter on Saturday. Cousin Scotty's pick, Clemson. Louisville versus Kentucky. If y'all thought them last two teams were geographically close, these two groups can almost date each other's cheerleaders. They live so close to each other. I tell you what, yins can't live that close to your enemies and not expect a bunch of bad blood. The Hatfields and McCoys got along better than these two teams will on Saturday. The Heisman hopeful of the Cards will have to show up and be all he can be in order to beat these Cats. The Cats are coming off a big loss to the Bulldogs last week, and if they show up like after they did on their previous losses, the Cards better look out. They've looked a little anemic in the past few weeks. Lamar Jackson has been their only bright spot. The fans in the stands will look mostly blue, but by the end of the day, they'll be seeing red. Cousin Scotty's pick, Louisville. North Carolina versus North Carolina State. The rivals get closer still. With just 25 miles separating these schools, not only could the players and cheerleaders date intercollegiately, they could even do lunch. So let's get to the meat of the meal. Ramsey's has been a whole lot more fun to watch than this team has been most of the year. North Carolina's been terrible. With only 3 wins and 2 of them over FCS teams, their only quality win, if you will, is over 4-6 Pitt. And yeah, Pitt beat Miami, but lost to both of these teams. Mostly UNC is looking forward to the indoor round ball season. State is heavily favored in this one and is looking forward to hosting their interstate rivals. And then the Wolfpack are going bowling for the ACC. Today they look to improve their prospects. The Hills and the Pack will rumble about 3:30, and it won't take long for the Pack to be biting at the heels of the Hills, if you will, and then just devour them all together. After the game, the most heard phrase from the UNC players and fans will be, "See ya on the hardwood." Well, good luck in your bowl game, Pack. Cousin Scotty's pick, North Carolina State. Folks, the last 2 weeks of the season is always a fun time for football. Interstate rivals play for all sorts of fun trophies and bragging rights. LSU and Arkansas played for the Big Boot. Kentucky and Tennessee played for the Beer Barrel. Washington and Washington State play for the Apple Cup. The Sooners and Cowboys play for the Bedlam Bell. Fresno State and San Diego State play for the Oil Can. Then there's the Golden Hat, Paul Bunyan's Axe, Floyd of Rossdale, a pig, the Little Brown Jug, the Iron Skillet. Oh, folks, the trophies matter. The pride in bringing it home for a year, the anguish of watching them carry it off the field, the anticipation of next year. It's all about pride. And the next two games are all about pride and good old Southern hate. Georgia versus Georgia Tech. The Red Clayhounds of Athens will head to the big city and try to take a bite out of the Ramblin' Wreck. The North Avenue slide rule jockeys will no doubt have spent a couple of thousand nerd hours on the campus supercomputing device trying to figure a way to beat these dogs, all the time singing, "I'm a Ramblin' Wreck from Georgia Tech and a heck of an engineer." Bad news, nerd boys. We all done figured it out just from watching a couple of y'all's games. Tech's defense won't be able to contain the dog's four-headed monster running the ball, and their offensive line, well, it takes time to run the triple option, and Tech is going to run out of options quick. Them dogs are fast up front, and the last time somebody ran this type of offense against them, well, they carted off the QB in the second quarter with a noggin injury in the Sugar Bowl. Georgia's speed could be an issue, overplaying the ball in that option. They do it, and Tech could get a few big plays out of it. In the end, Kirby and the Classic City crew should prevail, sending the number nerds back to their computing devices to figure out how it all happened. Cousin Scotty's pick, Georgia. Oh boy, here we go. Alabama versus Auburn. The Iron Bowl, the head-knockingest, cheap-shottingest, rootingest, tootingest game of the week. If Auburn wins, there will be a shortage of toilet paper in the Auburn City. Well, if you need some real bad, just head down to Toomer's Corner. They'll have plenty there. If Bama wins, Auburn ends up 9-3. Good, not great. And Malzahn is 1-4 against Bama. Those kind of numbers got Mark Richt fired at Georgia 2 years ago. With a bowl record of 1-3 at Auburn, Gus is on the hot seat. Whoever wins will meet the Dogs in Atlanta for the SEC title. If Bama loses, they could still find themselves in the playoffs. An Auburn loss, no chance. They will get a good bowl game and watch the playoffs from the house. So what is going to happen today? Auburn's at home, going to get hyped, and that crowd is going to get louder than anything the Dogs heard a few weeks ago. Bama's poised, though. They're cool and collected and truly gifted. That noise ain't going to bother them. This team feeds off that kind of energy. They will try to set the tempo of the game, and if they can, Auburn's doomed. The Tigers are notorious this year for controlling the ball and getting their defense off the field. Their defensive line can smother you. But what about Bama? They're hurt and they've struggled a little bit, but they just keep on winning. It's because they're three deep at every position. One guy gets hurt, they tote him off and throw on another. This game will come down to how mad Bama is over last year's loss in the national title game. They've played with purpose all year. Simple. One more win, one more win, one more win. Every week it's one win closer to the goal. This is a tough one. Auburn, Alabama. Who wants it? Who needs it? Who will take it? Well, Cousin Scotty's pick today, Bama. Well, folks, we're at the bottom of this bag of pigskin picks, and I'll be back next week to sort out the conference championship games, and that'll be some fun. Hope y'all enjoyed this. I had a good time doing it. And remember, don't bet on games, but if you do and you lose, I ain't responsible. This is all for fun, and that's your problem. During this holiday season, remember to be kind to each other. Smile a whole lot. Instead of griping and complaining, go out and volunteer at a soup kitchen or a nursing home or anywhere you can to help those in need. You'll be better for it, and you just might appreciate what you have a little more. God bless y'all, and may God keep on blessing America. Goodbye.